Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast. I know it's not 7. I have been 7 on the nose for a long time. I get that one day where I had to go crazy. Anyway, it was a crazy week, and I had so much to deal with. And today has been a crazy day too, and I'm trying to get more stuff done, and it's very challenging. So that's my BS excuse, but I'm still here at least. There we go. There's something. So I'm still rocking and rolling and trying to make things happen. So I'm very happy you guys are with me. And there were many things I had thought about talking about today. Trump is on a full court press, which is good for him and not good for guys like me. Why? Because we have to watch everything he's doing. He's doing 80,000 things. But we have to try to figure them out. And then you guys ask me questions about every one of those things. And how can I know them all? But I'm supposed to, because I put myself out there. But yes, that's what's happening today. I'm trying to cover as much as I possibly can. But I think as I was walking down that road and deciding what was the most important piece to cover, I found something from one of the best pundits out there. I suppose from a pundit, a guy named Frank Luntz. I have been following Frank Luntz now, 15, 20 years, however long it's been, a long time. He is brilliant, usually correct, not always, but he's correct like I'm correct. See, that's how good we are. He's usually correct. He's off here or there, but he's usually correct. And he does a lot of serious polling, and something else which is amazing. He specializes in focus groups, grabbing people, asking questions, walking down roads to get not just what do people think, but why do they think it, which is also even more important. So he had something to say about what's going to matter in 2026. And when I watched what all the people are doing, what Trump has been talking about, what Hochul's talking about, what Chuck Schumer's talking about, what all the elites in my state and in the country are talking about, I thought, okay, are they hitting the things that matter? Am I hitting the things that matter? Well, who's hitting the things that matter and what makes the most sense? And I thought, how do I know what it is? Well, Frank Luntz is going to tell us. He is, because he's that savvy. Before I get there, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click the you-know-what clicky thing, button thing known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Do that right now. Like does matter. Doing that is important. So please do that, because that's how we move this forward. And I want this to grow. You want this to grow. We all want this to grow. So let's do it. Also, if you have not already, please share this or repost this someplace. If you're on Facebook, put this into a Facebook group. Put this in, share this on online, any place you feel appropriate. Please do that. And if you have not already subscribed or followed or connected somehow to this page or channel that you're watching, do that also. Every single bit matters. You might go, Larry, I've already subscribed. Why do you keep bugging me? Why? Because YouTube just decides that you're somehow a bot. It just decides that and then unsubscribes you. That happens constantly. So since YouTube just decides you're a bot, you need to make sure by clicking on the subscribe button, and of course, once you click subscribe, then it's a secondary piece. Click all notifications so you get notified every single time I go live, because you don't want to miss this. No, you don't. Stop pretending. You love me. I know you do. I love you back. So do it. It does matter. Subscribe if you can. Please do so. All right. So who's going to tell us what? It's going to be a guy named Frank Luntz. And believe it or not, on CNN, which, as I told you, while CNN is not great, it's definitely trying to get better. And this is one example of them trying to do that, having a guy like Frank Luntz on. He's going to tell us what he thinks.
Speaker Mike Johnson reacted to President Trump's call for Republicans to nationalize elections. Watch this.
The president had called yesterday for a takeover of federal elections, to nationalize in some states. Is that something that you think you should do, that Republicans should do, take over elections?
The president is expressing his frustration about the problems we have in some of these blue states where election integrity is not always guaranteed. So we have to figure out solutions to that problem, and that's what I think the Save America
Take
Act
over?
will do. So we're working on it.
Thank you, guys.
No.
And now you might go, Larry, this election stuff matters. I agree. It does matter. I'm not sitting here saying it doesn't matter. But I got to ask you, if CNN pushes that on Mike Johnson, is Mike Johnson saying the other things that Americans want to hear? Is who is allowing this to be top of the ticket, if that makes any sense, right? Is this Republicans going, good, talk about that? Or is this press going, good, talk about that? I'm not sure, but what I know most Americans want to talk about is not that at top of the ticket.
The Constitution clearly states that states have primary authority over the times, places, and manner of elections. Still, the president is pushing the idea while repeating debunked claims of widespread voter fraud. He made the comments on the...
Because Orange Man is bad. We're aware of this, CNN. We know Orange Man bad. Got it. They should probably just, if any of you ever used to listen to Rush Limbaugh, if any of you ever listened to Rush Limbaugh, for those of you who know, he had a saying, ditto. And the saying ditto, for those who don't know, if you used to listen to Rush Limbaugh, was because people who were called would very often say things like, hey, I used to like what you said, or I love this, or they'd have something to say, and it would take up so much time that he asked them to just say ditto, meaning what the last guy said, right? So ditto became all the positive things they would say for the people who loved Rush Limbaugh, and they became known as ditto heads. I'm not joking. That's a real thing for Rush Limbaugh. For those of you who listened, you know this, but if you don't, you may not know that. Why don't CNN and MSNBC just go OMB, and then we would know Orange Man bad? Yeah. So you don't got to go through the debunking of you don't have to do that, right? You just go, OMB, and everyone goes OMB, right? And they all do the thing, so we all know we've said Orange Man bad, and then tell the rest of the story. They spend a lot of time expressing why the Orange Man is bad. You could just go OMB, and then everyone, OMB, and boom. We'd all be gone. It almost be like a church service, right? You could do that. I'm trying to help CNN out, guys, because I care. Can you feel the love?
Podcast of his former deputy FBI director, Dan Bongino.
The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
Now, this is the funny part about Bongino, for those of you who know. Bongino comes back, and Trump goes on his show right away. I want Trump on my show. How come I can't have Trump? I'm kidding, obviously, but I'm saying he gets the president of the United States on the show right away, right? That's not a good thing.
We have states that are so crooked, and they're counting votes. We have states that I won that show I didn't win. Now you're going to see something in Georgia where they were able to get, with a court order, the ballots. You're going to see some interesting things come out. But, like the 2020 election, I won that election.
This sounds like, and look, some of you guys who like Trump are going to be mad at me when I say this, but hear me out. This sounds like when he was talking about the Obama thing, remember? Oh my God, my people know everything Obama, and it's going to be mind blowing, and the world's going to end, and it's going to be discussed. And it was just nothing. It was a big nothing sandwich, right?
By so much.
The Georgia ballots the president is referencing are connected to a controversial FBI search last week at an elections office in Fulton County. Agents seizing hundreds of ballots from the 2020 election. Joining us now to discuss is pollster and communication strategist.
Now, all that stuff was there to let you know, in case you didn't know, for some reason, that the Orange Man is bad. So they had to prep this, letting you know the Orange Man is bad. So all I'm saying is, all those minutes we just did, CNN could have said, hi, I'm some dude from CNN that no one knows his name. Hey, Orange Man bad. And then everyone would just nod, Orange Man bad. Boom. Here is Frank Luntz. And that whole thing you don't have to do anymore. Just saves time.
Frank Luntz. Frank, great to see you as always. What do you make of this talk from Trump about nationalizing elections? How do you think this lands with voters?
Problematic in that we don't want the public to distrust the elements that make up our democracy, that there's already enough skepticism. And I'm afraid that for some people it's now cynicism. And that anything that really undermines our trust, our faith in the elements of democracy, problematic. The public does, a significant percentage of the public does distrust the way the elections are run at this point, because they don't believe that there's accountability. They don't believe that there's oversight. And that's a problem. But to add to that takes a problem and turns it into a crisis. And that does concern me. In the end, if you have faith in the way that people are elected, you'll have faith in your country,
Yes.
you'll have faith in the process, and you'll still have faith in democracy. But if we lose that.
Now, this is why I'm saying the election piece is important. Frank gets that too, right? That is important. And the number one piece most people get is, which some people in New York are getting it, is going to be election observers, right? That's the number one thing, right? Election observers, number one thing over anything else. Election observers make people feel the most comfortable and decrease the odds of anything funky going on, because no matter what's happening, people who think they might get caught often don't do the bad thing, right? So election observers, critical more than anything else. Poll watchers, more than anything else, the most important piece. We do that. We lower the odds of having any kind of issues and concerns. So he does accept that is an issue. It's just not number one, and he'll explain why.
Faith. Then, and particularly in this 250th anniversary of America, if we lose that faith, we got a problem as a country.
It seems that much of this, and also Republican efforts to gerrymander in a number of states, is tied to Trump's fears of what might happen to him if Democrats take control of Congress after the 2026 midterms. Why not spend more time talking about issues that voters really...
Okay, this is the part that matters, right? Because it looks like now this is a good story that Democrats can use against Trump, which is why it's not good for them to be talking about this. Because Democrats are going to just say what this guy just said. Oh, see, the reason why you care about this, Trump, is because you're going to get impeached. What about my rent? What about my food? What about my gas? What about my job? What about my kid's school? Right? That's what the Democrats are going to use that against Trump, and anyone who runs as a Trumpster, they're going to do that. They're going to throw that against him. He brings it up. Now, of course, what does Luntz say?
Care about, like, the economy, the ones that drive them to the ballot box.
Well, you know how much I respect this show, and I appreciate the straightforward nature of your questions and your colleagues' questions. But the gerrymandering, all you have to do is look at California and what the Democrats did there. Now, I recognize that they say that that's in response to Texas. Both sides do it.
It's what it's what I said. I said it was a mistake for the Republicans to do Texas. It was a terrible idea because the second they do it, the Democrats couldn't wait, and they did it. And this battle was lost by the Republicans. The Democrats are going to get more seats out of this.
Both sides are responsible for this, and both sides should be held accountable. The Republicans should not have done this in Texas, and the Democrats should not have followed up in California. True. And we know that other states are going to follow suit. That's the problem. Your question about should we be prioritizing issues that voters care about? Absolutely. And the issue and the challenge for Republicans is, in a word, affordability.
This is what I keep saying. It is my number one thing I talk about is affordability. My number one thing I bring up is affordability, because that's what actually matters more than anything. Someone's going to say, well, what about the democracy? Remember, Democrats tried that in 2024. Remember, they kept saying, oh, we're going to lose democracy if Trump is voted. You're going to lose. Remember that? And people said, I can't pay my rent. I don't care. My kid can't read. I don't care. I don't get democracy if I don't have a place to live. What do I care? I want to eat. We're back at that now. He is correct. This is exactly the right answer.
It's not a hoax. It's real. And the public acknowledges that fuel prices have come down since their highs a few months ago. But they still look at housing. They still look at healthcare, and they still.
And you might go, how does this guy know? Because polls? Yes, because polls that he does himself, and focus groups that he does himself. If he says people are saying, that's not people are saying. That's people told him.
Look at food and say, I can't afford what I want and what I need. And that for the Republicans to keep control, which is very hard. History suggests that they've got a 90% chance of losing control of the House. They may keep the Senate just because of the seats that are up. But if they want to keep control, they're going to have to address this issue. And they're
what
going to
I keep
have to
saying.
do it in a way that's meaningful and measurable.
Meaningful and measurable. So for all you Democrats who just yell, Trump is bad, and for all you Republicans who just go, Mom Donnie's evil, that ain't going to work. It's not going to work if you want to make moves, if you want to move the needle. Not going to work. Now, don't get me wrong. Orange man bad brings out the Democrats. True. So if you want to get your Democrats out, great. You want to make changes? No. Brown man bad is going to get the Mom Donnie is going to get the Republican base out, but that's it. What about everybody else? Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. You're only moving your base, and your base on both sides you don't get is getting smaller, not bigger. And he's going to cover that too in a second.
So that the voters themselves feel that their quality of life and their standard of living is improved today from what it was a year ago.
Yes. Now, Brana says, I don't trust polls or focus groups as a rule. The questions are asking a particular response. That's true. It depends on who paid for it, who's making it work, right? Yes. Yes. Adirondack says, yeah, we need to know who paid for the poll. No. He does this himself, and then he sells the data. This guy is an exception to the rule, which is why he's almost always right. He is so popular that he just does the data, and then people buy it from him. He doesn't have to get them to put the money up front. Do you see where I'm getting at? For most people, if I want to go buy a poll, if I'm a pollster, I wait till Brana goes, hey, I care about something. Larry, here's money. Go do a poll. That's not how this guy works. How this guy works, he just does it. Has the data, and then people go, hey, can I buy it from you? He goes, yeah, cost you X. Yes, that's how he does it. So to answer your question, who pays for it? He does. Who does the actual questioning? He does. Now, he does absolutely, he's openly leans right. Openly. He is a Republican. He openly leans right. He does. But he doesn't care. His polling isn't for marketing purposes. And many polls, as you guys know, they are. This guy, no, his polls are for what's going to get his Republicans elected. So he wants to know exactly what's going on. Yes. Brenna goes, he's the exception to the rule. He is. And that's why I'm talking to him. You're correct. Generally speaking, you'll be correct. This is a specific piece for him. So, yes.
Otherwise, based on what history tells us, in every off-year election, the party that's out of power comes back into power, or at least gains a lot more seats.
We've had multiple conversations about how affordability and the economy are going to be principal drivers. I wonder about some of the other sort of issues in the orbit, things like immigration. A recent Fox News poll showed.
Yep, he says the orbit, and I agree with that completely. Is it the orbit, right? Not the key, but the orbit. Rick, thank you for the $5, my friend. Trump is boosting Thomas Massie like the Dems have done since 2015. Is Massie going to be the most significant political figure post-Trump? Let me walk on a couple of those roads. Trump is making a terrible mistake attacking Massie. I said this a long time ago. Massie's not the hill to die on. He just isn't. There are too many Massie fans, too many Massie stands that will follow him onto that hill and dig in right next to him. And if need be, die on that hill. And as casualties take, there will be more people who come to that hill. That hill's not falling. That hill's because so many will die on that hill. Trump will not take that hill. This hill, it cannot be taken because we will all stand on that hill and we will keep fighting. That's a hill without. Massie's like the only guy we got left. I mean, he's like the only guy we got left where we will all rush on that hill and dig in. It's the wrong hill to die on. And I said it a year ago. I don't know how many times I use this meme. Use the wisdom of humongous.
Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror.
Just walk away. I said it a long time ago, and I say it again sometimes. Just walk away. And this was not the place to go. But the problem with someone like Trump is his personality is once I attack, I got to keep going. He does sometimes back off. He does. If he can blame somebody else or use somebody else. If I was him, I'd find an answer, walk away. You don't want to lose this battle with Thomas Massie. It's not worth it. So that's number one. Thomas Massie, to your point, is stronger when he's attacked by Trump. Thomas Massie's been the same guy for years. and basically ignored for except for libertarians. Libertarians have always loved him. The exception of libertarians, basically ignored for years. Same dude, no change, same voting record, ignored for years. Now Trump attacks him, and he's becoming very popular. When Trump goes away, is it possible for him to be the most significant? No. Will he be significant? Yes. Most no. He's far too anti-establishment, and he doesn't have enough of a cult of personality in him personally to make that next step right now. Could he one day? Maybe, but I don't see it for a while. I can't see it for a long time. He would have to have a lot more people in the Republican Party become much more libertarian-like. If that were to happen, would people like me and others rally around him? 100%. But he doesn't have enough troops yet. That makes any sense. He needs a bunch more to make that happen. Then maybe, but not yet. He's probably 5 years out, 10 years out, maybe. Then maybe. That's just my gut. I hope that answers your question. So, yeah. All right. Thank you for the super chat, my friend, by the way. I do appreciate it. All righty.
That the president's approval rating on that issue is now underwater. And
yes.
Beyond that, there's also
now he's starting to lose on immigration. This is a big deal. This is a periphery, right? Which is why Trump did exactly what I told you he was going to do. When he came back from Europe, he was like, all right, Holman, go fix this, Holman. Go fix this. Noam screwed this up, came back, and you guys broke Minnesota. Holman, go fix it. I'm going to make a phone call. You go fix Minnesota. And Holman did. And Holman said, all right, you give me X, I'll give you Y. Let's make a deal. And what Larry always says, stop fighting Trump. Make a deal with Trump. He is literally a deal maker. Make a deal. And that's what happened.
Question of the Epstein files. A lot of folks are very upset that DOJ recently.
E-files are happening too. The problem with the periphery right now is in the past, the periphery was very positive with Trump. So he could distract with the periphery and win. Right now, periphery right now is not going well for him. He's got to turn this around. He's got to turn this around.
Announced that there's not going to be further prosecution based on this release of 3.5 million documents as of last week. Do those make enough waves in November? Is there something there for either party to capitalize on?
And there's the issue here. Is it going to be positive? And watch what he says. It's not what you think.
The only reason why the Republicans should feel any sense of hope for Election Day is that the Democrats are more unpopular now than they have ever been.
See, that's what he's saying. If the Democrats weren't so terrible, the Republicans would be in trouble. And this is what's making a lot of people on the left upset. This is why the Mamdanis of the world are trying to take advantage of this, right? Because the Democrats still suck. So if the Democrats actually had a plan of doing well, in theory, the Democrats should be trashing Republicans right now. They should be. They're not. But they should be because the Republicans are having trouble. It's the midterms, right? So shouldn't Democrats be jumping them? They're not. Because Democrats aren't even focusing on the right things. As I sit here and ask, is Trump focusing on the wrong things? Oh my God. What about Democrats? They're not either. Chuck Schumer is focusing, I'm not joking, on giving aid to Israel. That's your focus? I get people like Israel, but that's your focus. That's his focus. Shouldn't your focus be on helping out New York? You're a New York senator. Shouldn't your focus be on helping America? Shouldn't you be America first, then worrying about some other country? Nope. Focus on Israel. But Hochul. Shouldn't Hochul? Well, in theory, what Frank Luntz just told us, number one thing is affordability. Well, what's she focused on? ICE. She's focusing on ICE. I mean, what I hear Democrats tell me all the time. They're like, no. Leave Democrats are screwed up. And they are. They should be. If they just had a coherent plan, if Democrats, they don't, but if they did, they actually had here's how we do it. This is one of the reasons, there's many reasons why Mamdani won. But one of the reasons why I won is he literally had a plan. Free buses and tax to rich, whatever. Obviously, it's not a good plan. But he had a plan. Here, see, when this, and you get the free buses, and then see, and then we freeze the rent. We do all the things right here. Here's the plan. And New Yorkers went, It's a plan. Okay, I'm in. No one else got one. If the Democrats had a real plan, again, they don't. But if they did, they could be spanking Republicans right now. They could. Frank is correct, because Democrats aren't doing anything either. While people are now leaving the Republican Party, they aren't joining Democrats. They're becoming nothing. They're becoming independents.
That the polling numbers for the party, it's gotten a little bit better over the last few weeks. But for the most part, the Democratic numbers are the worst in their modern history.
Yes.
So the Republicans are doing badly. The Democrats are doing even worse. And that's why we don't know what's going to happen.
Bingo. Think about that. In the past, usually when people go, I'm tired of Democrats, they go Republicans. When people go, I'm tired of Republicans, they go Democrats. Now they're going, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. That's it. I'm tired. Phil, thank you for the membership. 13 months. You are the man. Thank you. Larry, do you think the Democrats' dissatisfaction led to the Brooklyn Democrats unendorsing Hochul? How does it affect your strategy? Not at all. That means nothing. Nothing. Why do I say that? If you look at Hochul right now, she is, for those of you who don't know, Kathy Hochul is running in a primary against her former, or even current, I guess, Lieutenant Governor, Antonio Delgado. Delgado was trying very hard and failing miserably but he was trying. He was trying to be like the far left Mamdani guy who was going to pick up all the DSA and beat Kathy Hochul from the left. That was his goal. Boy, did that not work. But he was trying. I'll give him that. He was trying. Total failure, not working. In fact, he picked for his final attempt was he picked a woman named India Walton, who was a working families hardcore socialist from Buffalo, who literally all the establishment got together to throw her off the ballot, to have her lose in a write-in election in Buffalo. Republicans, Democrats got together in a write-in vote to get rid of her, to make sure she could not win. That is how far left they were, that Republicans, Democrats got together, just like they did in New York City, trying to stop Mamdani, right? He picked her. Has not worked. Mamdani, I think today, openly endorsed Hochul, which means he's done. So that means top dog DSA endorsed Hochul. And if you see Hochul for the past 4 days, she is just stacking. And I mean just stacking endorsements. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, 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 boom. 4 in this county, 2 in this county, 1 in this county, 6 in this county, 14 in this county. Just stacking endorsements. So you might go, Larry, do endorsements matter? In the general election, not that much. A little bit. They have a little bit of pull, but not crazy. If you're in a tight race, they could put you over the top. If you're really like in a 2-point race, something like that, they could put you over the top. But when it actually comes to primaries, the people who tend to vote in primaries are people who know the system, who know the people. They tend to be more political animals. So endorsements matter at least triple when it comes to a primary. They matter a lot. They do. It's just very true. It's a whole lot easier when you have that. So yeah, it changes nothing for Hochul whatsoever. She has this lockdown. It's not even close. Rumor has it Delgado is going to drop out and run for something local. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I've been talking to some people that I've been on the phone like there's no tomorrow these last couple of days. You can imagine. Rumor has it he's going to bail. I think it's true. Yep, Dominic, Delgado's going to get cooked in a primary. Yep, absolutely. Adirondack says, I saw projected 11% for Delgado in primary. Yeah, he's done. Yeah, I don't think he's done for. The reality is the second that, and I said this, the second that Hochul started completely just being like, Mamdani's awesome. Come to all my events. And I got to say, the great Mamdani. Once she started saying that, he was finished. And she knew it. I mean, look, there are many things about Kathy Hochul's team that I can't stand, but the team isn't that incompetent. I mean, even they figured that one out, right? That was like, duh. So even they figured that one out. So that was already finished. So thank you for that comment. But so it changed nothing. It changed nothing. That is the Brooklyn Democrats being able to virtue signal as DSA. DSA is very strong in Brooklyn and Queens. I would say stronger in Queens, actually, but very strong in both. It's a virtue signal. but it changes nothing. That's all. It's a very good person for them. And it's basically because they hate who Hochul picked as her lieutenant governor. For those you don't know, Hochul picked the former Speaker of the City Council, Adrian Adams, who, by the way, is very popular among the establishment. Establishment Democrats love her. Establishment Republicans don't even mind her. She's super establishment. She's like the Hillary Clinton of New York City. She doesn't. You probably don't die if you cross her. So maybe I went a little bit too far. But she's absolutely establishment. Establishment Democrats love her. Even establishment Republicans kind of like her, just to be forward. Many of the establishment does. Non-establishment does not like her. And Brooklyn's trying to show, look, she's not good. She's corrupt. She's all these things. I mean, I'm sure she is. So that's what that was. Does it change my strategy? No, at all. I have to win a Republican primary regardless of what Hochul does. It's looking like, though, there may not be a Democratic primary. Hochul may have done everything she needs to solidify this, to be able to have massive dollars to completely destroy Blakeman, which she's already doing. She's already trashing him. He's already getting trashed. Yeah, she's already in process. Hochul's not touching me. But to be funny, Democrats never bother me. They leave me alone. My third run, Democrats never bother me. Like, whatever. They know they're going to win. And they get Republicans to beat me up. So I don't care. They're fine. Republicans beat Larry up. I don't care. Hopefully this time, it'll be different this time. Third time's a charm, Phil. Third time's a charm.
On election day, the party that can present that it has a meaningful, measurable plan of action, a detailed plan of action.
Is there somebody that has a plan of action? A detailed plan of action. Oh, wait, that will be me. Yes. Frank is talking my language. Yes, he is.
To make things better for the average individual, that's the party that wins in November.
Frank Luntz has just endorsed me and said I'm going to win in November. Just saying it. It's official. Frank Luntz has just said publicly on CNN that Larry Sharpe is going to win the election. He will be the next governor of New York. Just being very clear, that is what he just said. This is an official endorsement by Frank Luntz. Please sue me. This is going to be an official endorsement by Frank Luntz. Please go on TV and tell people that you didn't say this. This is absolutely what happened. Frank Luntz just endorsed me 100%. He just said so. I am going to be the next governor of New York, directly out of the mouth of Frank Luntz. Please tell people that I didn't say that and sue me. There we go. It just happened.
Even with the historic trends that do benefit the Democrats. But in the end, it's going to require a direct, looking straight at the camera, a direct approach.
Yes.
That acknowledges that the public is mad.
Yeah.
That they feel worse off today than they did.
Yeah.
A year ago.
Yeah.
And that they want fundamental change. They want an impact that makes a difference in their lives.
Where have I heard this before? There was a guy who was doing that back in 2018, then again in 2022, and then right now. Oh, right. That was me. Right. Yeah. Yet again, Frank has doubled down and let everyone know that without a question, I am the one who will be the next governor of New York. Done and done. I appreciate that. Thank you, Frank. I eagerly accept your and proudly accept your endorsement.
And right now, it's a jump ball because neither party is succeeding.
Frank Luntz, always great to get your perspective.
Frank Luntz says it right there. It is the year of the independent. You thought it was just me. You thought it was just me. It's not just me. It is what's happening right now. So there it is. He said it. I'm very happy and proud to receive officially the endorsement of Frank Luntz and the prediction that he has said, he has deemed it so, that I will be the next governor of New York. Thank you, Frank, my brother, my friend. Thank you for that. I'm happy to take it. There we go. All good. Frank Luntz endorses Larry Sharpe for governor of New York. Okay, there we go. That was easy. I'm glad I got that. And on CNN too. Not too shabby. Let me grab a couple of comments if I could before I go here. And then I may show you some other things, but I'll walk down this road. K. John says, yes, he's doing right things for the billionaire class, corporations, and certain other in the country, a certain other country. For us peasants, though, nope. I've waited to see him keep promises. Tired of this lying pea dough. Man. So I am on YouTube, so I have to talk like a baby. I apologize. I got to do baby talk on YouTube. Try not to be mean, but I kind of have to. So, yeah. There we go. So, yeah, look, he's not focusing on the things that really people want. So, Tier Ninjas, and she's focusing on handguns, shooting 1,200 rounds per minute. Yes, thank you for that. Yes. For those of you who don't remember, I did a show on that, how Kathy Hochul decided that there are these guns that are slaughtering people that fired 1,200 rounds a minute. Obviously, that's not a thing, and she has no idea how that even works, but she says it with a lot of confidence, and she's going to stop those. And okay, I guess if she's going to stop a weapon that fires 2,000 rounds a minute, and that's okay, that weapon does not exist in the civilian world. So go get that one. I'm in. But she's focusing on that one. And that one, by the way, has been responsible for exactly 0 deaths. Just in case you're wondering how this is just slaughtering people, exactly 0 people have died from that weapon because it doesn't exist. But yes, so there we go. Nosy says, oh, Trump is focused on anything but those e-files. Look, I have spent a lot of time talking to people, young and old, all across this state. And there is literally an age gap here. If you are someone who is, say, over 50, over 60, and you're Republican or conservative, you're more apt to be like, what are you going to do? If you are under 50, under 40, the odds are much higher. You're like, no. This is some real stuff. And the idea that we're going to sweep it under the rug, tough, very tough. So yes. Rick Boss says, Trump is cleverly going to drop most tariffs in the summer, set the economy on fire, and win in the blaze of glory in midterms. Look, this is the way around it, Rick Bob. That was my entire point. This is the way around it. Do you want people to stop focusing on the e-files? You can do it. You can. It can be done. And some of you are like, no way, I'm going to stand forever. You can. Rick, you are correct. If all of a sudden, all his stuff comes to fruition, all this money comes in and people start getting these manufacturing jobs he's talking about, and the economy explodes, they'll be like, Ep who? There's a guy, Ep what? Eva, what are you talking about? That, yes, you will. We as Americans, boy, we will overlook a whole lot of stuff when we can buy brand new cars. I wish it wasn't true, but Rick, you are correct. If that actually happens, and you might go, but wait a minute, aren't we going to recognize that if he lowers the tariffs and all of a sudden the prices come down, is because he lowered tariffs, he did it, and he made them high in the first place? No. That was like a year ago. That's forever. That miles will be the Stone Age. I might as well have Ugg the caveman tell me that. That didn't happen. Did that happen? I don't remember. Yeah. You might be right on that one, Rick. That could actually happen. Rick goes on to say, or is he just stupid and will take the GOP down the drain? I don't think Trump is stupid. I know some people do. People don't like him. I don't think he is. If he's doing it and taking the GOP down the drain, if that's true, I think it's a mistake. I don't think he's dumb. I think if you're right and he takes the GOP down the drain, if that does happen, I think it'll be because he's wrong, and maybe my guess would be because of hubris. Again, he's like a Napoleon. Napoleon had a reason to believe in himself. He kept in the long run winning, right? So even when he was losing battles, in the end, he'd win the battle, or he'd losing a war, in the end, he'd win the war. So, except when he went into Russia, didn't go so good for him then. But prior to that, he was kept winning. So if you're right, and he does take the GOP down, if that does happen, it'll be more because he believed he could do anything and he was wrong, versus him being stupid. I don't think he's stupid. I don't think that's true. So, yeah. All right. Your mayor says Larry Sharpe for governor. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. People showing up. Hi, everyone. The Sharpies are here. It's true. Phil with the what's up. Thank you. The Super Bowl's coming. Maybe we'll get some what's ups coming in. I doubt it, but we might. You never know. People are showing up. I do appreciate it completely. So all good stuff. Andrew is here too. Nice. Oh, the gang's all here. I love it. The gang's here. It's amazing. A lot of you guys are showing up. So yes. Adirondack says, I'm not looking into the epi files, but my question is, are there crimes or plane rides indicated? If crimes, please prosecute the criminals. Be done with the innuendo. I agree with you completely. I don't see any prosecutions coming. I don't. And I know that sounds horrible, but I think there has to be something, right? I don't think it's enough to like have, I don't know, Prince Andrew step down from being prince or whatever. I don't know if that's enough. I feel like some people need, what's that saying? I need my pound of flesh, right? I think some people need something out of this. You kind of got to throw somebody under the bus, which I know sounds horrible if you're the one who gets on the bus with the other guys all get away with it, right? But I think you kind of have to. I see it. But there's another thing. We also have to make sure we get some stuff done. There are people who are struggling, right? That's the issue. Adirondack goes on to say, we have laws and elections. All they need to do is follow the laws. I agree. Most of our actual election law, when it comes to ballots, actually isn't that bad. The question are not actually following them. You're right. They just ignore them. They don't care. So yes. All righty. Bronna says, good evening, Sharpies. Wasn't sure if there was a show tonight. Been refreshing YouTube since 7. Thank you. I'm just late. It's me. I'm just late today. I am really under the gun. So yes. Little Frog says, hey, Larry, just sent a message to Brooklyn GOP Chairman Liam McCabe about supporting a primary between yourself and Brickosaurus. I spoke with a friend of mine, a district leader in Bay Ridge. Thank you. Oh, my God, thank you. I actually met him, Liam, about 2-3 days ago. He was at the Conservative Party convention. I met him there. I bugged him there, too. So thank you. That is amazing, guys. Look, I know I've asked you for this. If you can, if you either know any, and I mean any, Republican leadership in New York State, whether that's elected officials, chairman, committeemen, anything. If you know anybody in New York State, do me a favor, call, text, email, whatever's appropriate, and say, hey, I support a primary between Sharpe and Blakeman. Please do that. Every little bit does count. You might go, does my little email count? Yes. Does my text count? Yes. Does my phone call count? Yes, it does. Please do that. The more we get, the better. So please do it if you can. I appreciate every one of them. Please don't stop. It really does matter. So yes. Adirondack says, nationally controlled centralized election control will make corruption and cheating far easier and harder to prove. Exactly. Thank you, Adirondack. Why do people think, well, things are bad, so we need more centralized control? Now it's easier to scam. It's harder when there's a bunch of people, because now I got a bunch of people who all have to play the same game. And if I get a bunch of people who are going to be poll watchers in one or the other, it screws the whole system up. You are correct. We have problems. Decentralize. Totally correct. It is an error to want to make it more centralized. Look, to be forward, you're not going to end all corruption. I wish you could. You got to make it so little it doesn't count and it's not worth it. That's what you have to make. And that's not easy. But the more you do that, the better. Phil says it, right? Distributed elections are hard to steal. True. Absolutely true. Yes. Totally true. I absolutely agree. So the more of that, the better. So, alrighty. I did that piece. Excuse me. Talking about ICE, as I mentioned earlier, I want to touch what the Democrats talking about. Trump's talking about is avoiding EpiPen, obviously. Talking about everything else except affordability. Democrats too. Talking about everything except affordability. They are hammering hard on ICE. And I get it. It's a good issue right now. Right now, they're beating Trump on one of his best issues. I understand the logic. I do. That's very good at beating up on Trump. Nice. But it's not getting people to you. Right? So I get the logic. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm saying it's not helpful in getting people to you. So are you getting some people to go, you know what? I'm mad at Trump. I don't want, yeah, you are. But are you getting people to become Democrats? No. No. So Democrats, it's not working. I'm just going to yell Trump. I guess there is a virtue signaling piece that works to motivate Democrats. So if your goal is just to motivate your base, this does work. Democrats love anything that beats them on Trump. They eat that up. So for that purpose, well done, right? For that purpose. But you're not getting people to rush the Democratic Party. You're not. So the question is, what do you think about ICE? There is a way for you to figure out exactly how you figure out how you think about ICE, and that is by going to theadvocates.org and then taking the Immigration Enforcement Survey. What? They have a survey on ICE? Of course they do. They're the advocates. Click the link that is in the description on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. Click that link. Go here for that link, and then click on single issue surveys and take the Immigration Enforcement Survey. It's short. See what you think about these things. Here's one of them. What is your view on federal agencies declaring immigration a national security crisis? Which one of these is closest to how you feel? Illegal immigration is a genuine security threat that requires strong enforcement. Or crisis framing grants the federal government excessive power that threatens everyone's liberty. Or 3, this rhetoric dehumanizes immigrants and is used to justify violating their civil liberties. What's closest to what you think? Pick either one of them, whatever you want. And then go to question 2. What's your opinion on ICE conducting expedited deportations without full court hearings? Which one do you feel is more important? Or what's closest to what you think? Deportation on judicial review gives federal bureaucrats too much unchecked power. Fast-track removals violate due process rights and lead to wrongful deportations. Expedited removals efficiently enforce the law to deter illegal entry. Which is the right one? What is closest? Once you're done answering all these questions, do me the favor I keep asking every single time. Share it. Share this out. Let other people see it. When other people see you've taken it, they're going to go, wait a minute. Let me check this out too. What did I think? Where do I land? They're going to care too. More people taking this quiz, the better. Why? Because this is a quiz that shows you how to come back to the advocates for self-government. And we're talking about self-government, changing the culture. Hear that, Brana? Changing the culture. That's what I wanted to do. More people go here. More people take these quizzes. More people read the articles. More people take the world's smallest political quiz. More people share it. It grows. More and more people recognize that the actual answer is more, not less, self-government. This is the advocates. Please click the link in the description. Take this specific quiz and then share it. They are a sponsor of the show. Thank you so much for helping me out. And it's free. On top of all the cool things I just said, it's free. Come on now. You can't beat that. It's free. All right. Keep moving. All righty. Let me walk down this road. Brona says, we don't have a democracy. We never had a democracy, Frank. Doesn't matter. People think it is. And that's what he said. How do people feel? No, he didn't say it was real. He never said that. He goes, do they have confidence? Do they believe in it? That's the issue. So, yes, that's the point. Do people believe it? So, yeah. Andrew says, the only true faith I have is in one the Almighty. Well, there we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. Nico says, mobile voting. They'll tell you security this and security that, but mobile voting is the inevitable future and it's going to increase representation. I think in the long run, you're right. My worry is not that they couldn't do it. My worry is they will use it as another way of control. It's basically the same as, marking you up and, social credit scores. That's my worry, right? That is my biggest worry. So yes. All right. David says another slow news cycle this week. Tons of them. Yes. Adam says, hey, Larry, I sent you a message on LinkedIn for a potential interview opportunity with the New York City YouTube. I know I sent it to Phil already. Already sent it to Phil. He's already on it. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. You already have, there's Phil. Yep. Adam, I help. Yep. Already on it. He's already on it, taking care of it already. So we are working on that now. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. 100%. All righty. Let's see here. Mass Manawa says, moving the needle was the original Viagra tagline. Is that true? I think you're making a joke again. Mass Manawa, you always got jokes. Yes. Yep. All righty. Rick Pa says, we need to get Larry on walk-ins. Welcome. Yes. I don't know what that is, but we should do that. 100%. You're right, Rick Pa. We should get on there. Get me on that. Yes. I love that. Shelley says, figures never lie, but liars always figure. The Americans are largely swayed by these lies. You are 100% correct, Shelley. People, particularly if the numbers fit the narrative that the person wants to hear. When the narrative matches what someone wants to hear, they very often hear, well, I want to believe that Larry Sharpe's winning the election. So when they put up bogus numbers where Larry Sharpe's winning 99-1, I believe it. Why? Because I love Larry Sharpe and I want him to win. So there we go. I believe it when it shows he's 99-1 against Kathy Hochul, right? I mean, I'm not 91, but I get it. So yes. So Brawna says, I used to watch Frank on Fox many years ago. Definitely a right winger, but he did come off as honest. Yes, because again, he's a right winger who his goal is to give Republicans accurate data so they can win. His goal isn't to give them marketing tools to move the needle. That's not his goal. His goal is here's real data. So now act accordingly and win the election. That is his goal. That's why his stuff tends to be so much better. He's not looking to market. He's looking for them to really change. D says, I will down the Massie Hill. If they end up getting him out, it's all over. I agree. Yes. Andrew says, take the L and move on. Yep. Sometimes take the L. Look, I've had to take many L's in my life. Yes. Sometimes just take the L and move on. Yep. It's the best answer. He goes on, take the L and let lip. Yep. Just move on. You can't win every battle. I wish you could win every battle. You can't. You lost. Move on. It's fine. There's still a water fight. Like, it's not like that's the end of it. You can still keep going. That's one battle you lost. It happens. Christine says, Massie and Rand Paul should be the two men Trump looked to for a moral barometer. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, that's true. Kay says, I only keep X to share Larry's vids. I do every time. That's the number one reason to have X, by the way. For those of you who are wondering, that's the one reason. That is the reason why you should do that, 100%. I love that piece. So, Andrew, for $60, my friend. Larry, what do you think will happen with Trump and funding for the Hudson River Gateway Tunnels project? Yeah. For those of you who know, that is a major project that needs to be built. I think Trump is going to use that to punish New York and New Jersey. New York and New Jersey are not pro-Trump. I think he's punishing them. Actually, for those of you who know, that tunnel needs to be rebuilt. It is a major way that the entire Northeast is taken, the whole Northeast is taken care of. From Boston, I think, all the way down to I think it goes down to a part of Virginia, maybe North Carolina. There's a whole, there's a whole a corridor there. You can just take an Amtrak. When I go to DC, I don't fly. I don't drive. I jump on Amtrak. When I go to Albany, I don't fly. I don't drive. Well, I do sometimes, but I take an Amtrak. I can take an Amtrak down to DC if I want to pay, if I just want to have a decent seat, $200, and I'm there in 2 hours, 3 hours. Excella. It's not crazy. I mean, a flight costs the same, if not more. An airplane. Why bother? Jump on a train. I'm down there. And Albany is probably, I don't know, $50, whatever it is, like that. $100. I forgot what it is. It's not that much. If I want a separate seat, $150. Want a specialized seat, be in business class. Regular coach for $50. So it's a big deal. I can go to Boston for a couple $100. The corridor is pretty good here. So this is a most important piece, a very important piece. So what I would like to do is make sure that gets funded, not by the government. If the government builds that, Andrew, it is 20 years. There are 2 or 3 companies that I know of personally. And then when I don't know, which I don't know personally, which is Elon. Elon's company could also do it, which I don't know personally, but even he could do it. That can knock this thing out in a year, 2 years. Done, built. In fact, I've talked about it already. The tunnel needs to be built. You need to keep the one tunnel open and then build 3-lane tunnel going the opposite way. 1 left, 1 right, and then 1 central tunnel for maintenance and for swapping on and off. You do that, you will change the whole thing. There's 1 tunnel for trains coming through across under the Hudson River. 1 for trains. A passenger. Not good. So what I think will happen, it'll be delayed as long as Trump can possibly delay it. Then eventually he'll say yes. A year or 2 later, the funds will be released. It'll be built somewhere between now and 2040. I wish I was joking. That will happen. Unless I become governor, in which case it'll be built within 2 years. I would take over the governorship in 2027. It will be up and running. All three lines will be up and running no later than 2030. Up and running, all 3 lines, 2030. Once that happens, we take the one that we have now and then expand that into 3. So now we have 2, 3 going back and forth trains. At that point, you can just do bullet trains back and forth. At that point, yeah. So that's what will happen. Lunatic, thank you for the $5. Larry, I'm still waiting replies from inquiries for a panel. Anarchy is in process. Creation of true communities are possible. Many people need others. Yes, we do. We are communities, man. Right? I mean, I bring this up often. We should be more community-based. Humans are meant to be in groups of somewhere between 100 and 250 people. Somewhere in that area. That's where we're supposed to be. That's why, you know this, Lunatic. Every single military unit since the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, has been about 100 and some odd people. Because that's like the optimum. It's like 150 is like the best. But we can go up to about 250, right? But like 150 is like the sweet spot for human beings. So you have a unit about 150. A company is still 150 people, about 100, 150 people in that area. Still, when you add support staff, maybe a headquarters unit and leadership, it's about 150. So a Roman century is 100 plus leadership, right? And then support staff, supply staff, about 150. So again, same idea, right? That's what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be in those groups. Add other people who we care about, 250, maybe 500. You do have social media and technology. You probably go maybe 1,000, maybe. I'm guessing in that area. Probably can go there. But we should be in communities. We need people. We are social. You're right. So yeah, I would love to have a panel. Let me know when I can be part of it. I think it is the right answer. The more communities, the better, right? And then, look, it's a normal way of doing things. I agree. So, all righty. See if I can grab this here. Let me see here. Grab this one already. D says, and how many times Larry said it? It's now the time for the independents and third parties. All the time. I keep saying it. Yes, all the time. So, all righty. I'll walk down here. Kajan says the great Mamdani. Yeah. I walk down here. Phil says Larry has a sharp plan with solutions. True. Yes, absolutely. Brana says, been watching this since Ron Paul 88. Talking heads ask who has an actual plan and continue to know the one person who does. Yes, they ask who's a plan. Ron Paul had a plan. They ignored him. True. They ignored me too. Damn them. Damn them. They care far more about headlines than anything else. It drives me crazy. They care far more about that again and again and again. Yes. So if I can grab this one here. D9 says, am I the only one that remembers the Digital Bill of Rights? Oh, nice one. I like that. Yeah. Brana says, you don't think he's stupid? Doesn't seem to know the difference between Greenland and Iceland. That's just a mistake. That's ignorance. Most people couldn't find either on a map. So I don't think that's stupid. So Brana says, by the way, he thinks you're stupid. He does. That's accurate. He does. Yes. He does think that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, but we're talking about things that, a lot that people, we're focusing on. I've heard people say this more than once. Larry, here in New York State, because Mamdani won, now Mamdani runs all of New York State. That's just not true. It's a good scare tactic. It's just not accurate. Hochul still runs this state. Clear. Now, will she pander to him to get votes? 100%. Absolutely. Doesn't mean she'll run a state, but she will pander. Of course she will. Excuse me. I've said this before. You will find a lot of people say things like, oh my God, Hochul's a Marxist. Hochul's, she's a communist. She's not. I say it all the time on Make Clip. Please don't believe that. It's not true. Hochul is a Hochulist. Would she be a Marxist? 100%. Would she become a Republican or a Libertarian or a Green? Yes, she'd be whatever. She's a Hochulist. She wants power. She would become whatever was required. So would she go that route if that's what it took to get Mamdani, to keep Mamdani happy so that she could win? Of course you would. Wouldn't think twice. Of course you would. Here's the issue, though. She has donors, too. She has donors also. Her donors, many of them don't like Mamdani. So she has to walk a very thin line, right? How do I keep Mamdani happy enough while keeping my donors happy? So here's what she will do. She will absolutely act like, oh, I care so much about this, and I care so much about that, and I care so much about ICE, and I care so much about this, until she feels, oh, okay, I've won the primary, and I can beat Blakeman, so I no longer care. Mamdani who? That will happen. She cares about ICE. She doesn't care about ICE. She cares about ICE because ICE is, right now, most people in America have a negative view of ICE. She knows that. So that's why she hates ICE. Not because she actually hates ICE. She doesn't care about ICE at all. But, oh, you New Yorkers hate it? Me too. I just can't, defund them. Get rid of them. And then they'll support ICE anyway. That's what Democrats can do right now because it's popular. I get it. Like, if I didn't have a soul, I might do it too. But sadly, I have a soul. These people don't. So it doesn't really matter. So, yeah. But look, if you want to talk about this, supporting open borders, supporting ICE, doing stuff, you can't. Lots of people care about it. Here is a place where you can actually, if you want to, there is a place where you can actually hear some real information about it. You can chat about it and see some real information if you want. There is a place. It's civil. Of course it was. You know it was civil because it's always civil. You can absolutely go. Remember, Civil is a sponsor of the show. I'm on Civil. I'm partnering with Civil. And here is Dad Saves America. What? He's talking about the Islamic Republic of Minnesota. He used to support open borders. Then look at the data. Uh-oh.
No welfare benefits, no voting, take a green card, get a job, build a life. That's what all of us did whose ancestors got here before 1924. And it worked. Hey there, friends, fans, and foes of Dad Saves America. John Papola here, and I thought I would take this Friday to talk about, well, the battles in America, the battles in the streets of America, and the battles for the composition of the country. But first, to the streets.
Demonstrators.
Now, why would you want to watch him talk about this? Well, because he tends to not be that heavy of a political guy in general. He talks about regular stuff. You'll hear a conversation about it. And that's what you get on Civil, a real conversation. Now, you may say, oh, this guy's crazy. Immigration, we should not do that. Or immigration, we should do that. Or ICE is good or ICE is bad. Doesn't matter. You will get actual conversation here. He'll give you what he thinks. He'll show you data. And that's what matters. Civil has lots and lots of that. People saying back and forth. And whatever, you're going to, at the end, you're going to say to yourself, wait a minute, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Or I know now I'm right. Either way, you will get benefit out of it. It's why Civil matters so much. CIVL.com, civil.com. Click that and head over there. And when you sign up, it's Larry 10 for 10% off. Larry, the coolest name on the internet, plus 10 for 10% off. Look at that. Larry 10. Check out Dad Saves America. Check out all of the cool things. Every single time I do a show, I give you something cool for them to watch. And the most important piece is I'm on it. With 6 We Fix It Wednesdays. There's no place else. But Larry, I want to watch it someplace else. Well, you can't. It's only on Civil. That's all it is. 6 of them. So pop on there if you can. Sign up. Civil.com. Code Larry10 for 10% off. They are a sponsor of the show. Please enjoy. Thank you. All righty. Let me keep going down that road. That was a decent movement, right? I thought it was. Absolutely. So, yeah. All righty. Missy says you can also join and become a member. You can if you want to. Click that join button. Thank you, Missy. I appreciate that. Yes. Whatever you could possibly do. That's great. All righty. Let me walk down some more of these if I can. She talks about Civil, of course. There are many ways to support our show. I appreciate that. Yep. Andrew says, if by nationalizing elections, they mean setting baseline standards for enforcing voter ID or something like that, probably makes sense, but I don't know. Yeah, yes. I mean, if the goal is to create guidelines, I don't have a problem with that. But I don't think it's not what it is. If it was that, I agree with you. If it was like, hey, this is the best practices you should follow, I think that's fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. I don't have a problem with that kind of thing, but I don't see that. I don't see that. So yes. All righty. Nico goes on to say, AOC just showed how she distributed $14.7 million for a district. That's the stuff Dems need to be doing. Head back to your district and do your thing. Senate, I don't know, man. Look, that's what they used to be about. how much money I can pull back home. Now, obviously, libertarian, I don't want you pulling money back, but that is your job. You're right, Nico. That's your job. You're hired to do that. Yes. You're hired to do so. Yes. Andrew says, I take all the surveys. Please, guys, take all of them and share them. Follow Andrew. He's right. Right? Yes. D says, share the advocate test. Yes. Share them. Yes. Absolutely. Moron says, it does matter. You want to change the culture? So do I. Teach people the truth. America's never been a democracy, and tell morons that every single day. Yes. So take these little tests and send them so they can go, why'd you send me this, brother? Because America's not a democracy. See? You now have a reason to scold people. I'm giving you a reason to scold, Brana. See that? There we go. That's how much I care. That's how much I care. Absolutely. Yes. Roy says, why should we make voting so easy? Do we want iPads getting passed around concerts to get everyone to vote then and there? That's a good question. I think you do have to find a balance between, right, making it accessible. Maybe that's a better word, Roy. Making it accessible without making it so easy so that all of a sudden now it's easy also to fraud, right? So I think, yeah, there has to be a balance. I agree. There has to be a balance. Yes. All right. Okay, went down that road. Mass Mao says, I am so anti-X that now I refer to my ex-wife as Grimes' wife, X-rays as radiographs, X-Men as Xavier's boys, and Malcolm X as Malcolm Twitter. Well, I like Malcolm Twitter. I'm going to steal that one. And I'm going to give you like no credit at all. You get no credit. I like that one. Yes. Right. Adirondack says, when are they going to build a train, AOC train in Hawaii? That will be amazing. Hopefully soon. Yes. Little Frog says, going to say something unpopular, but in my opinion, the New York Republican Party establishment has nothing to offer the people with ideas, save we're having an epidemic of oh, yes. Bruce's, that religion that people speak of, yes, vote for him. Sadly, that's true. There are people who are saying that. There are people who are saying that, and that's the wrong reason. I agree. Look, some people will. People do, Little Fraud, they do sometimes vote on just identity, right? She's a woman. He's black. She's that religion. That does happen. It does. I wish it wouldn't, but I understand it does. That's not the way to winning an election, though. That's the way of getting a small chunk of people. I think there are a chunk of people who will do what you say for exactly that reason, right? There are a chunk, true, but not enough to win, right? You have to have something else to win. If that's all that mattered, other people would win. So, yes, absolutely. Luna, thank you for 9 months, brother. Thank you. That's right. Become a member. Larry, a real human, Marine, New Yorker, black man, and successful. True. All true. Help get him to the governor's seat. He is right. All those things are true. And you should do what he says. Listen to what the lunatic says. He's right. Yes, yes, and yes. So, all righty. Roy says, for the record, Trump did very well in New York. Best Republican since Bush Sr. Don't get me wrong. Trump is an anomaly, right? Roy, you're right. You are correct. Trump did, again, relatively well in New York State, too. But now, if you look at what's happening now, he didn't do that well. He didn't do that well just last year, right? There was elections in New York and in Jersey, and that has turned. The guy who was hardcore Trump in Jersey did not win. Trump is still unpopular. Again, particularly when it comes to Democrats. But to be forward, Republicans in New Jersey still like Trump very much. Republicans and conservatives still like Trump in New York very much. The problem is there aren't enough of them in the state. But yeah, if you ask the average Republican or conservative, however you would define yourself, self-identify, however you would, in New Jersey and New York, the vast majority will go, yeah, we like Trump. Most do. Most Democrats, though, just still hate him, Roy. Most do. And that's your issue. So, yeah. All righty. That's good. Rhetoric says soon, Kathy Hochul on civil. Okay. I don't like you anymore, Rhetoric. I used to. I'm done. So, yes. Larry says, Larry, what would you have to get done to have Tom Homan support you? Impossible. The establishment's not going to support me. You know what? No, let me take it back, Lenardi. I have to win the Republican primary. Done. That's the way we do it. Yes. That's all. I have to win the Republican primary. That's how you do it. So yeah. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Grab some more of these. Brona says, I've taken many of the advocate surveys over the years, Larry. I even shared them. I've been trying to share them from your link since I have had the pleasure of knowing you. Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Every bit does count, and that part does matter. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Massie says, if you watched the very end of the Tucker Carlson interview on the Jimmy Dore show, Jimmy prods Metzger to retell my joke a second time to Tucker. Oh, I like that. All right. Now I got to watch now. Now I got to watch. Okay. You making me now I got to watch. Okay. I got it. All right. Rhetoric, I'm kidding. I still love you. You know I love you. You know I still love you. You know that, right? So yeah. Okay. Oh, good. All right. So I covered that piece and I covered that too. That is all good. There was one piece I also wanted to bring up here. And that was this last piece I want to bring up before we move any further. Is of all the things we talked about, this piece here. This is the 10 lowest ranks or worst states this year via taxation. And the bottom, which you maybe, can you see? Hold on. Let me get rid of this so you can see it. New York. New York. Yeah. Lowest ranked, worst states this year because of taxation, New York. Worst. Now then it's New Jersey, California, Connecticut, bottom 4. Guess what the bottom 3 states are when it comes to wealth gap? Not New Jersey. They got away. Connecticut, California, New York. Yes. Wealth gap and taxation go hand in hand. So what should we do? Add more taxes. When you add more taxes, you add the wealth gap. I bring this up because the only answer anybody seems to have now is more or less taxation. I get it. Less is better. But you want to have some actual answers here. And we don't. We keep spending. We keep spending. We keep spending. More programs, more programs, more programs. Our people are not becoming happier. The wealth gap is not going away. And the state, people keep leaving the state. This is a problem. I don't want this to be an issue. Sadly, it is. What I want us to keep thinking about here is, well, I guess we're gonna yell Hochul is bad or Trump is bad or Mamdani is bad or whatever. People need to be looking at people who are going to give you actual answers. So I guess I'll bring my answer up from the question I asked. The question I asked is twofold. I kind of clickbaited the Trump piece, right? Is Trump focusing on the right thing? But I'll add to that, is Kathy Hochul focusing on the right thing? Are Democrats focusing on the right thing? And the answer for all of them is no, they're not. When it comes to Kathy Hochul and, well, I'll do Trump first. When it comes to Trump is not focusing on affordability and is avoiding the big issues. And I've said this early on. I was right then. I'm going to be right again. The e-files, Trump should have come clean off the bat, whatever he's done or hasn't done, whatever it is, just say it. He said a long time ago. What's my evidence of this? RFK Jr. said that. Do you remember that? Most of you don't remember. Yeah. 2 years ago, RFK Jr. said, here's how I'm in the files. Here's what I did. Here's what I didn't do. Here it is. Everything. Boom. People like, oh, he's admitting he's in the blah, 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 blah. And then he was forgotten about. Because he just, here's where I was. Here's every time I was on the plane. Here's what I did. Here's how it worked. Done. Now, who's talking about him now? That would be, oh, right, nobody. Oh, right, nobody. Because whatever they found was what he said. So there's no scandal. It's done. I told Trump to do the same thing, but he didn't because he's not listening to me. RFK Jr., I told him he did it. He's like, yes, and he did it. Just set it out, got it out there, done. He's fine now. He's in it too. But he told you where it was. He told you how it worked. He said what was going on, and it matched perfectly. Next. Who cares? Nobody's talking about it. Trump screwed that up. He's got to fix that, and fast. It ain't going away right now. And even if it does go away eventually, and it could, If the economy goes great, it could go away, but it won't go away forever, and it will always linger. Get it out, take the pain, move on. He's messing up. Not just that. He's not focusing enough on affordability. He calls it a hoax. Has to pay attention. He's focused on this election stuff. Not the right thing. Look, whether you believe Trump lost or won or whatever, the average American says, I can't pay my bills now. I don't care if you won the election. I don't care if you lost. I don't care. Show me I can pay my bills. Then I'll care. Then we can talk about it all day, all night. The average American cares about that. He needs the average American. And he should stop talking about Thomas Massie. It's a bridge too far. He should shift. Now, again, I move over to Democrats now. In theory, with what I just said about Trump, Democrats should be gaining tons of people. They're not, because they're screwing up too. It's about ICE. Yes, it is good to beat up Trump on ICE right now. But here's the problem. Most Americans still do want at least the bad guys to go away. That's still true. They're mad about ICE right now. But Holman was smart. He said, give me X, we'll walk away. Trump did it too. By the way, hold on. For all you guys who thought I was wrong, and Larry, why are you talking trash about Trump, blah, blah, blah. What did I say Trump was going to do? What did I say Trump should do? And now what's he actually, this is from the mouth of him himself. Exactly, another I told you so moment.
Well, one thing I say to my people, we do a good job. We don't get credit for it. I say they have to ask and they have to say, please. When a city is
who
going
has to ask and who has
the
to say
mayor
please?
or the governor.
The mayor or the governor has to ask and say, please. Now, he's exaggerating, obviously, because that's what he does. But what I say, coordination. Been saying it for how many months? And all you hardcore Trump people, I can't say that. They got to do this. Even Trump says it. It doesn't work without coordination. And when you throw the ICE guys in without coordination, people die and you lose that battle. Holman went in and said, you give me what I want and I'll back out. Now, Democrats said, it's not true. They've just pulled out of Minnesota. They didn't pull out. They did a drawdown, which that was the deal. Holman said, you let me get these guys out of jails. Let me get these guys out of this. Coordinate here and here. I'll draw down. And they went, deal. Deal made. What I've been saying for how long? And all you guys who got mad at me? Yeah, I was right again, wasn't I? I know some of you who love Trump just go, oh my God. No. Trump's saying it. I'm not making this up. Trump said himself.
I don't want to go and force ourselves into a city, even if their numbers are terrible. Like, for instance, I got a call from Jeff Land.
Even if their numbers are terrible. Damn. Does it get this? Sometimes I get tired of being right. I do. Sometimes I get tired of being right.
Landry, governor of Louisiana, he said, we have a big problem. Could you go in and help?
What did I say? 2 weeks ago? I said Trump should fall back and focus on victories. What's he doing right now? Right now. Falling back and focus on victories. He's had victories. Focus on them. It makes total sense. People want to hear this. While Americans are mad at ICE now, they still want to hear this. They want to hear Trump did his thing with this. They do. Most Americans, obviously some Democrats hate him no matter what he does, but most Americans want to hear this.
Well, let's see, certain sections. I mean, to be honest with you, certain sections of the state, beyond their famous, beautiful city, certain sections of the state. We have done, not only in New Orleans, we've done a really great job in Louisiana, but I was called. I want to be called. Chicago, we could solve the Chicago crime.
Well, on that question, which cities are you headed to next?
Do you see what we talked about? I brought this up because I knew this was an important piece. I told you this is how it works. That is good communication. That is good communication. That is what he should be doing every single week. And now let Holman say that next. Let the next guy who's in charge say that. People want to be like, oh, yeah, yes, that's how this works. That is the right answer. I've been telling you about this. I was right then. I'm right again. It just is. So, yes. All righty. Grab a couple of these here. Grant says, even if you didn't participate in the PDF stuff, the files also reveal that the financial markets are rigged. So all these people are still guilty by association. Again, yes, but here's the issue. You're not wrong. But how Americans work. If Trump was to say, hey, maybe that's true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was involved in this financial stuff. I don't know, but let's say you're right and he was involved in some financial stuff. Just say it. Yeah, I was a businessman and whatever. EpiPen had these cool things and we made a bunch of whatever. Just say it. I made X $1 billion and whatever happened. And look, I shouldn't have. He's a bad guy. I shouldn't have done it. But look, I'm going to solve your problems now. This is literally what he did when he came to the Bronx. He was like, yeah, Republicans haven't been good talking to black people. They haven't been. But I'm here now. And I'm saying I'm going to give you guys jobs. And people went, damn, okay. You're not pandering? And then give me a job. I'm in. Americans are that way, Grant. If he would just do that, yeah, I was in the files. I scammed on a bunch of whatever deal. I'm making that up. I don't know if that's true. But for the sake of argument, I scammed on these deals and I made a bunch of money. Yeah, I shouldn't have. People did it. Sorry about that. Look, let's get some jobs. Most Americans are like, yeah, everyone does it. And they just walked away. It would have gone away. How do I know that? It happened with RFK Jr. He should have just done it. Just done it. And been it. And Ronak says, Bill Clinton should have done that rather than deny. Yes. He would have disarmed the R's until they found the impeachable angle. Yes. Just come out. I did the thing, whatever it was. Sorry about that. And move on. It's always the best way. And people just don't do it. They just don't do it. Nico says, Larry, you're so good at predicting things. Are you going to be the next governor of the great state of New York or what? Yes, I just told you. You must have missed it. I literally just told you. Frank Luntz just endorsed me and said I'll be the next governor. He just said it. He just said it. So, yes. All righty. Let's see here. Chrissy says, I think Trump might have been what you call an informant. Maybe trying to bring down. Okay, let's say it's true. Let's say that's true. So maybe Grant's wrong. Perhaps. Again, I don't know. Say you're right and he was an informant. Just say it. Hey, I was working for the feds. I was trying to take down whatever. Okay. My point is, unless he actually did something with the little ones. I'm hoping he didn't. I do not want that to be true. I hope that's not. I don't want that to be true. If it is, it is. I hope it isn't. As long as it isn't that, just say, here it is. But I'll go one step further. Let's say he made some indiscretions with some younger people. Assuming it isn't too young, he probably could even just get that out because that's going to come out anyway. Just get it out. Made a mistake, whatever. It's still better than being found out, whatever. It's still better than being found out, even if it is that. And I really hope. I don't want to believe that we have a president who's that. So I hope it's not. If it is, it is. I'm not going to say it is. And I'm not going to lie to myself if it is. I'm hoping it's not. So, yes. Christine says, was it a lack? It wasn't a lack of coordination, lack of cooperation. Agreed. You got to negotiate that. I'm with you, Christine. I say it all the time. You have to deal with Trump. Whether you like him, hate him, whatever you think, he is literally a deal maker. You've got to just deal with him. You have to accept the fact that he literally is the president of the United States. He's not going away. Like him or hate him, you got to deal with him. Just make a deal. And yeah, you might not get everything you want. And yeah, it might suck. But if you do it right, people aren't going to die. My citizens aren't going to die. I'm okay with that. I'll take swallowing my pride and doing that. I'd rather my people not die. That's what I would say. So, yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you should accept that as true and then act accordingly. So, yes. That's it. All right. Let's see here. All right. I think I grabbed that piece already. There we go. Okay. That's all good there too. All right. So we grabbed that piece. I showed that piece. I think I covered that piece too. I had a couple I wanted to show. I think I covered them all. All right. I have covered them all. I had a couple things I want to go. So I'm now good. Guys, I'm going to ask you a couple questions if I could. Please share this if you would someplace. Also click the button known as like. Make sure you subscribe to this channel or you're following it. It does matter. I ask you all the time because it does matter. Remember, if you, once this is over, I want you to please comment on the live if you would. I want you to ask, want you to comment on what do you think our leaders should be focusing on? Is it affordability? Is it opportunity? Is it the foreign wars? What do you think? Should they be focused on the e-files? If you think they should, let me know. What should they be focusing on? Please let me know what you think they should be focusing on. It is important. And remember, if you're watching, it's not live. See 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them right away. It matters tremendously with Mr. Rhythm, Al Go Rhythm. I will see you all very soon.